Breaking news from Britain, a royal shockwave that has left the entire nation stunned. Prince William, the future King of England, has just done something no heir to the throne has dared to do in over 70 years. He openly defied the Prime Minister, boycotted a state event, and sent the British government into chaos. This is not a misunderstanding or a scheduling conflict. This is a declaration of defiance from the next monarch of the United Kingdom. Stay with us, because what happens next could change the very foundation of British politics. And if you think this is just royal drama, think again. This story ties directly into the biggest election scandal brewing in London, and before we unravel that, make sure to hit subscribe right now, because what we're about to reveal might be erased from headlines before the day is over. Yesterday afternoon, Lancaster House, the grand historic venue of Commonwealth Day, was packed with diplomats, ministers, and foreign dignitaries waiting for the Prince of Wales. Cameras were ready. Reporters lined up and expectations were high. Prince William was supposed to appear beside Prime Minister Keir Starmer for the Commonwealth Day reception, a moment designed to showcase unity and pride on the global stage. But 15 minutes before his scheduled arrival, everything changed. Kensington Palace sent a message to Downing Street, short, cold, and final. The Prince of Wales will not be attending. No explanation. No polite excuse. No royal courtesy. Just an outright refusal that left the Prime Minister's office scrambling for words and foreign guests whispering in confusion. The future king had just snubbed the head of the government in front of the world, and it wasn't an accident. Palace insiders confirmed within hours that this was deliberate, a move calculated to send a message. Sources close to William say he told aides he could not, in good conscience, stand beside a government that was, in his words, undermining the constitutional integrity of the crown. That's more than royal frustration. That's rebellion, the kind that Britain hasn't seen since the 1950s. The royal family has always stayed neutral, bound by tradition to work with whichever party the people elect. But this time, neutrality has broken, and it's because of something far bigger than a missed event. It's about power, control, and the future of the monarchy itself. For months, the Starmer government has been pushing what it calls modern reforms. On paper, they sound like progress, reducing royal funding, increasing government oversight, and ensuring accountability, but leaked documents tell a different story, one of control, centralization, and political interference in royal affairs. Plans to cut the sovereign grant, force royal family members to get parliamentary approval before international visits, and even review royal speeches before they're delivered. It's the biggest power grab against the crown in modern history. And Prince William has finally said enough. When the statement from Kensington Palace went out at 8 p.m., the tone was calm, but the message was nuclear. William said he would continue to defend the constitutional foundations and independence of the crown. Those words, defend and independence, sent shockwaves through Westminster. In political language, that was a direct accusation against the government. It was the future king saying the Prime Minister was crossing a line that should never be crossed. The result? A constitutional earthquake. Members of Parliament, journalists, and international leaders were all asking the same question. Has Britain just entered a cold war between the government and the monarchy? The chaos spread fast. Cabinet ministers at the event were blindsided. The Foreign Secretary found out through back channels, not official communication. That breach of protocol alone shows how deep the divide has become. And as global leaders looked on, the optics were devastating. The very day meant to celebrate unity turned into a public display of political warfare. Britain's allies were stunned. Diplomats whispered about crisis. Even royal staff, usually silent, described the atmosphere as tense and historic. The reaction from the public was immediate and overwhelmingly in favor of the prince. Within hours, hashtags like #Stand with William and Defend the Crown trended across social media. Polls showed nearly 70% of Britons siding with the royal family, while support for the government plunged. And here's where the scandal deepens. Internal leaks from within Starmer's own party suggest that some of his advisors pushed for the royal funding reforms, not for transparency, but for political gain. One Labour insider described it as a strategic distraction, to shift media attention away from the growing election scandal tied to secret campaign donations and foreign lobbying interests. That's right. While the government was publicly talking about modernizing the monarchy, privately they were facing mounting pressure from allegations of undisclosed funds tied to powerful corporate donors overseas. The timing is too perfect to ignore. As Parliament prepares for another election season, Starmer's leadership is already under fire. What better way to shift the national conversation than by challenging the one institution that still holds public trust, the royal family? But that plan has backfired spectacularly. William's boycott has not only stolen the headlines, but exposed what looks increasingly like a calculated provocation that could end careers and shake the government to its core. Behind palace walls, the mood is resolute. William is said to have the quiet support of Princess Anne and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, both of whom are furious at what they see as an attack on royal duty. Even King Charles, though bound by constitutional silence, is believed to be deeply troubled by the government's actions. Some reports suggest private communication between Buckingham Palace and Downing Street has nearly broken down, replaced by lawyers and intermediaries instead of trusted advisors. The last time relations were this strained was during the abdication crisis of 1936, and we all know how that ended. As for the economy, the stakes couldn't be higher. The monarchy contributes billions to tourism, diplomacy, and national branding. A royal boycott of government events doesn't just send a message, it cripples the machinery of British soft power. State dinners, foreign visits, and national honors all depend on royal participation. Without it, Britain looks fractured and leaderless on the world stage. Even the Commonwealth is watching closely. Leaders from across the globe, from Canada to Australia, have quietly expressed concern. They see William as the next symbolic leader of their shared institution, and they don't want to witness the crown dragged into political mud. Meanwhile, inside Number 10, panic is setting in. Advisors are divided. Some urge Starmer to back down, warning that fighting the monarchy is political suicide. Others argue that retreating now will make him look weak and lose credibility with his more radical base. Either choice could destroy his premiership. Parliament is scheduled to debate royal funding next Tuesday, and if Starmer goes forward, he risks a full-blown constitutional crisis. If he retreats, he hands victory to the crown and proves that his reforms were hollow. For a leader already under fire for campaign finance allegations, that's a lose-lose situation. And so the question becomes, who will blink first? Prince William, who has broken 70 years of silence to defend the crown, or Keir Starmer, who risks his political future by pushing ahead? Britain stands at a crossroads, between tradition and reform, between monarchy and parliament, between loyalty and ambition. What began as a simple boycott has become the defining battle of modern British democracy, and make no mistake, the world is watching. Every statement, every poll, every leak from within government circles adds fuel to the fire. Experts say this could be the most serious constitutional clash since World War II. It's not just about who wins politically, it's about whether Britain can survive this test without tearing apart its unwritten constitution. When the very symbols of stability are at war, the ripple effects go far beyond London. So what happens next? If Parliament passes the reforms, expect the palace to escalate. Perhaps more boycotts, perhaps subtle but unmistakable defiance. If the government retreats, it will mark the first time in modern British history that an elected administration has publicly backed down to the crown. Either way, the outcome will be historic. For now, Prince William has chosen his path, one of resistance, principle, and perhaps political risk. Whether that decision saves or endangers the monarchy will depend on what happens in the coming days. But one thing is certain, this is not just a royal family story. It's a turning point in Britain's democracy, one that will shape the future of both the crown and the government. This is breaking, unfolding, and nowhere near over. So stay tuned, because we'll be following every twist, every reaction, and every secret meeting behind those closed palace doors. The battle for Britain's identity has begun, and the world is watching. Don't miss what happens next. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and be the first to know when we uncover the next piece of this incredible story. The monarchy, the government, and the election scandal are all colliding in one of the most dramatic moments in modern British history. And you're watching it happen right here.